is up, everybody, and welcome to Show and Tell After Dark, where we talk about all things art, all things music, all things Boston. And sometimes we talk about those topics that you necessarily don't want to talk about, but those conversations that you know that you need to have. This episode will be about art. It will be about entrepreneurship. It will be about, if I had to guess, since this is our first all women panel, right?
Oh, I'm a dude.
Oh, yeah. Minus you. but like we got four. This has never happened before. So I would have to guess like divine, like feminine energy. I love stuff like that. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you hear anything that you resonate with, or if you're seeing this on Instagram and you hear anything that you resonate with, drop a comment below. We would love to hear it. I would love to hear it. I would love to read it. And who knows, maybe we'll invite you to be on the next episode of Show and Tell After Dark. Right?
Yes, sir. So can we go around and can I ask you guys, like, who you guys are? What's your relationship to art? What do you guys do? Can I just go around?
Let's start here.
Hi. Hi. I wasn't ready. I wasn't. Yo, see, that's how you know we really friends. Cause I was like, stay ready, don't gotta get ready. So ready, I was ready. My name is Amanda Shea. I'm an artist. I'm a mother. I'm an entrepreneur. Notice the emphasis on mother. I'm mad proud. My son's about to go to college. Like, I'm mad proud. Yeah, like, for real. He about to graduate high school. I'm mad hype. I know. Don't ask me no questions. That's it. Yeah, that's all I gotta say for right now.
Wait. What kind of art do you do, though?
All of it.
Jack of all trades.
You can't put me in no box. No labels.
Feels so. Hey y'all, my name is For Real. Like for real. I'm an artist and an entrepreneur. My brand is Feels of For Real. And I'm also a multidisciplinary artist. I'm a writer, I'm a poet, I'm a painter. I does it all. And my brand is essentially mental and spiritual coaching. And I kind of just put that with my art. So I just basically help people live a better lifestyle with the feels.
I love that. Makes you feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Ooh, as it should. I'm happy it did. That's exactly the feels right there. That's it. That is it. Yes.
Hey, I'm Cap. Capella. You can call me Cap.
All caps. All caps.
And I am too multifaceted. I am the curator of Wine and Wellness. And it is in conjunction and alignment with what Amanda and For Real do, promote spiritual health, mental health, well-being, healthy relationships and connections, and just overall healing. And I too am a mother. She just turned 1. But all in all, I'm just here existing, doing what I can, when I can, how
That's
I can.
right. How you can, when you can, whenever you can.
As you should.
All that.
Thank you.
Thank you, sis. What's up? I go by Air. I am a artist, creator. I am a yoga instructor. I own a one-stop shop metaphysical business, which I sell crystals and sage and holistic accessories. I wire wrap and do sculptures. I'm multifaceted as well. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
What up? My name is X the God. I make beats. I rap. I do a lot of things, but I'm not gonna list them all here because A, it's a lot, and B, I'm not in business for that anymore. But I do have a lot of skills in visual things as well. But for the most part, I have a fashion line called Godhood, CLO, and some music coming out. And yeah, X the God. Check me out.
X the God.
I have a question. Is multifaceted the same as Jack of all trades?
I would say so.
I have this thing where I do not like jack of all trades.
I agree.
Why is that?
I agree. I do agree.
Can I
It does
ask
sound a
why?
little
As a
funny.
person, like I started out like drawing. I became a dance instructor early on. Then I went into photography. Then I went to videography. I feel like when you're a jack of all trades, you lose kind of focus of like one art. You can become like really good at one thing, but you turn out like especially when you're a jack of all trades, you get pulled in all these like certain directions and shit. And you're not able to focus.
Right.
That's why I feel like when you're a jack of all trades, it just kind of hurts you as an artist.
I think it's important if you're going to be a jack of all trades to have all different trades that align with one another, so they can all merge as one. So essentially, your focus never is lost because one thing leads into the next. And then I love the saying "jack of all trades" and stuff. There was a quote that is like when
It
they
was
say the
trending,
jack
right?
of all trades is a master of none, but it's really that like you're able to what is it? It's more so like you're able to have multiple masteries in this. Like you're able to put your hand in every type of pot, but it's like you don't have to be a master of none, or if you're just a master of one thing, then you don't have anything else to pour from or pour into. So having all of these talents, all of these gifts bestowed upon you that you have the ability to focus on little by little, it all just comes down to compartmentalizing that time.
Yes.
So that you can focus on things individually instead of losing track and feeling like you have to scatter yourself from one thing to the next. So it's really intentional.
Can you guys tell me about how like everything you guys do artistically wise kind of like elevates the other one? So it's not different categories, but it's kind of like one thing that's like feeding the next artistic trait that you have.
I'll go. But before I answer your question, I do want to include like on top of what Air was saying, I believe in being a master of all things when you're like really just choosing to do what your soul wants, because like our soul is not like single, like it's very complex, you know, like, and there's so many different
Boundless.
frequencies to us. Exactly. So I feel like when you like really focusing on self, living in your truth, you're gonna naturally do so many different things. And to then go into the next question, like I was saying, I am a writer and I'm also a painter. I think that like I'm not gonna really answer your question, but I'm gonna answer your question because like I don't think I have a direct answer, to be real with you. But like it's just my expression, you know? So I think that's how like they all coincide, is like it's me expressing myself, and everything that I do, every kind of art that I do is you know, expressing positivity or expressing uplifting yourself, and that's my brand overall. So I think that that's really what it is for me.
Well, if I was connect like painting to like writing, do you feel like because you're able to write, what do you write, like poetry, or do you write stories?
Both.
Both?
Yeah.
Do you think that like because you're a writer and a painter, that you're able to actually develop kind of the really theory of your painting, the really kind of like thought, like you know how like a picture's worth 1,000 words? Do you feel like that kind of like your writing is like being put into the painting at all, or do you think that's two separate type of fields?
I would say that I don't necessarily put it into the painting, but like whenever somebody asks me like, oh, what does this painting mean? Like I do have my whole spiel of like what it means, what I felt in the moment, like, and I always write on the back of my pieces as well. So I guess I would say I put those two together in that way. Like I always put a message on the back, like, you know, some mantra, spoken word or something.
I love that a lot.
I can answer that. I think it's emotion, like what transcends everything. Especially I'm looking at us on this side and I'm like, I think it's emotion that moves us, that forward pushes like the next thing, or the next creative outlet that we're going to have. For me, it's like if I'm on the radio and that's my personality. I'm a radio. I hate that word, but we'll go there. So I don't feel like it's a personality. It's who I am. So
Right.
how do I put this on?
Right.
But sidebar, but because I'm passionate about music, you'll hear the excitement in my voice while I'm on the radio. When I'm on stage and I'm performing a piece and it's about my life and it's literally an intimate glimpse of my life and it's super personal, you're gonna feel that emotion that I felt when I wrote it. When I draw on canvases, you're gonna see my imagination and what's on my mind that I may not be able to put in words, but you're gonna feel something. I feel like it's all connected. And if we want to take it even from like a techie way, it's like when you're a writer, you need an outlet to express, right? So there's the stage, there's radio, there's TV, there's interviews, there's podcasts. We need these outlets. And doesn't that kind of coincide with what we do? Because it starts always from the writing. Before you start a podcast, you put out like a whole idea and a concept and time everything down and what topics and what questions.
Right.
It all derives from writing. So I feel like between the emotion and writing, it all connects you into the different spaces I think that we all explore.
That's a great answer.
To also piggyback on what Air was saying, because I know that quote, it basically goes like, a jack of all trades is a master of none, but still greater than a master of one.
I don't know if I agree with that though.
So like me,
Wait, can you say that again?
the jack of all trades is a master of none, but still greater than a master of one. So being more multifaceted than a person who does one thing, I don't want to take it away from somebody who does one thing, because I've seen people who are amazing painters and I paint too and I can't paint like them. I've seen people who are great at graphic design. I know some graphic design, but I can't do it like them. But I could do some graphic design. You know what I'm saying? So to go back to answer the question that you asked, like I said, I used to do a lot of things that I'm no longer in business for, but I used to do graphic design. I used to do photography. I used to do videography, and I don't do that for other people anymore. But as a musician, being able to do those things for myself means I don't need to hit up a photographer. I don't need to hit up a graphic designer. I don't need to hit up a videographer. I don't need to hit up a beat producer because I make my own beats. I don't need to hit up anybody for the most part because I do a lot of different things. And I think that's the best part of being multifaceted. You also said something about, I feel like I'm being pulled in many different directions. Everybody did all this. That's when you're like in a freelance world, when you're doing work for other people. But like,
I feel like you're spread thin.
Exactly. But like if you're focused on one thing, you need all the skills you got. And if you got a whole bunch of skills, then you're basically a powerhouse. So that's how I see jacks of all trades.
That's true, but if you were
okay. Jack and Jill.
if you're
What's the other version?
Jill, Jack and Jill.
Oh, Jill of all trades.
That's funny. I feel like if you're like that's cool if you're working for yourself, but whenever you present that to the public, it could be confusing to the public. If you're an entrepreneur, they want to know if you have on your Instagram that you do photography, you do graphic design, you do music, you do this, you do that. From a consumer's perspective, that's going to confuse your consumers. Mm-hmm. They're going to want to know that you like they're going to want to like the doctors that makes the most money is a doctor that specializes in one thing. You don't go to you don't go to an ear doctor for your heart problem. You don't go to a foot doctor for something else. You know, so and that's the thing that confuses me as an entrepreneur and a person that performs service, especially when you want to get out of that, I'm doing nails, I'm doing hair, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And you want to focus on one thing because it's like, yeah, you do so much, but at the same time, like it's going to come to a point where you can't do that. It's going to come to a point where you're burning yourself out so much that you're going to be like, damn, like, is this even all worth it?
It's situational,
you know?
Because I heard that for photographers as well. Like photographers who just specialize in weddings or photographers who just specialize in like newborn pictures, they make more money than photographers who are like, I'll just do anything. Whatever you give me, I'll just do it.
The specialize. You concentrate. Concentration is like it's slept on, and I don't think that people actually understands what the word concentrate mean, because it's deep. Like I use Dawn dish soap. I use like some Ajax dish. I'm like, damn, this don't compare to Dawn. Dawn is some concentrated ass shit. You can get a whole damn pot of dishes done with one drop of Dawn, but you use some Ajax. and you need to keep pouring it. You got to keep pouring it. You got to keep pouring it. It's not as concentrated as the Dawn dish soap. But I do think, just from, because I've been on both sides and I am on both sides, and it can get very confusing, like having more than one service or talent that you're great at, but trying to like present that to the public. Because as an entrepreneur, like, you have to think on both sides. You have to think as a consumer, and you have to think as a person that's on the other side.
Yeah. Thank you for that. You're
welcome.
That insight, it's refreshing. Just because I feel like I seen this discussion on Facebook before, right? And I'm all about trying to get to the root of
the root. Oh my God, that's been my motto for the past 3 months. The root
opinions, the root of why we think the way we do, the root of conditioning.
Right.
And so I do agree with you in regards to concentrating on, one thing. But then also in conjunction, maybe if you do have multiple gifts and talents and skills, they can merge into one another, right?
You definitely can.
But the only way that can happen is if you know who you are, and you can be yourself and show up as yourself in every facet and area that you deem your career or like your hobby or what have you. Now, if you're a radio host and an artist and this and that, but in every different field you're showing up with a different mask, it's not going to work, and you are going to deplete yourself. You are going to present to the public. It's going to be confusing because you're not grounded in who you are. Now, in regards to generational curses and programming and societal conditioning, right? Growing up, my mom had to concentrate on one thing. She had to do that. She didn't really have a choice to venture off and branch out.
Right. Find myself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And not for nothing, it's also an individual thing. I feel like at the end of the day, individualism is a thing. So if you feel like you only have the energy to do and invest in one thing, then by all means do that.
Right.
But if you're a person that you love to explore and certain people really can't, ADHD, they can't focus on just one thing. So think about mental illness and mental health too. Sometimes the girls that get it, and the ones that don't. But all in all, not for nothing, I feel like it's all about breaking the barrier down in regards to it's black or white, because it's not. There's always that gray area. You know what I mean? Right. So it's all about us being able to understand ourselves as an individual and who we are and what works for us. And then in conjunction to, in relation to you speaking about how it's going to look from your consumers, and from that perspective, I feel like thinking about that first won't really get you anywhere. First it has to be about what is what I'm consuming something that I would eat.
Right.
If is what I'm putting out something that I would like, something that sometimes people do shit for the consumers and not for themselves.
Right.
They get lost in the sauce. But I do want to validate your insight, because I appreciate it. And like I said, it's refreshing, because I love to hear about how other people think different ways about entrepreneurship.
It's hard. It's really hard, because it can get so confusing, because you want to be yourself, but you need money. You need that dough. So it's do I go with what I want to do, or do I do what I think the people want? And I feel like, for me personally, that's where I've been stuck for the past 2 years. It's do I do nails? Do I do hair? Do I do makeup? Do I, you know what I mean? It's and from that stems anxiety. From that stems depression. Yeah. From that stems am I living my life's purpose? And then from that is I'm messing up my household. My child's not. You know what I mean? It's a domino effect. It really it's more than just what it is. Am I living my life's purpose? And I think that's really what it all boils down to. Because at the end of the day, people just want to be more than happy. They want to be fulfilled. Because you could have $1 billion, but you could not be fulfilled. And I think that people confuse happiness with fulfillment. They're two completely, totally different things. They don't even live on the same neighborhood.
I think that for so sorry.
No, you go.
Yeah, wrap up the idea, and then we're gonna move on to the
Yep.
next.
I think that for myself, I feel like I do like what you were saying in regards to there's a certain role that people play, so there is no right or wrong answer. It's only what's right for you.
Right.
For myself personally, I don't like to put myself in a box.
Same.
So I feel like all of the skills that I acquire are tools for me to put in my toolbox to take with me everywhere I go. And so the things that I am focusing on, I focus on those things at that time, but knowing that that thing adds to the ultimate or bigger picture for me is where you want to have more than one like niche
Period.
or more than one skill.
Right.
Because if like you were saying, like comes a point or an expiration date on certain things you can or cannot do. Like for example, I've been a dancer I've classically been trained as a dancer for 25 years now. And for myself, there's a certain time where your body does not work in the same way.
Right.
So it's like, then what do? You have to move into something else. You become an instructor, you become a choreographer, you become something else or whatever in an administrative part or whatever the case is, artistic director, whatever. But that still coincides with one another and it's the bigger picture. But you have to be able to know how to instruct somebody. You have to know how to be able to do these different skills because they acquire different things. You know what I mean? So it's like, I feel like it goes hand in hand.
It definitely does.
For sure. Sorry.
No, that's dope. I think that you should dip yourself in a lot of different arts because a lot of different arts that you can't do forever. You know what I mean? That's why I like to draw because I know that like there's artists that are like fucking like 80 years old, you know, who still have like hobbies and stuff like that. But if you're a dancer, like you can't be on your toes, especially if you're like a ballerina, you can't be on your toes like in 80. You know what I mean? I kind of want to know how you guys describe your like self-expression. Like, you know, do you guys put your identity in your art? Or if you don't, why don't you?
So for myself, I definitely put myself in my art. It's the way for me to express myself. So it's coming purely from me. Whether I'm writing poetry or I am dancing or whatever the case is, or I'm creating something with my hands, it's from my expression. So it has to be a portion of me. And I feel like whenever it is manifested into the physical, like it's coming from more than an energetic standpoint, more than just my thoughts and my feelings. I feel like it means so much more for it to be out there in the world. And so yeah, like absolutely, it has to come from you.
With yoga, are you able to put self-expression in that?
Absolutely. With yoga, I base my sequences on intentions that I want to set for myself. So if I'm doing some type of, like, for example, going with the chakras, each center of energy located in your body, it directly correlates with an energy. So if I want to do something to enhance my creativity or my joy, my passion, my divine femininity, I'm focusing on my sacral chakra because that's where that energy derives from. So I'm going to do specific poses.
Where's sacral?
Sacral's right here. So right below the belly button where like the female reproductive organs are. And it's more of like a physical thing. Whereas, so if I'm going somewhere higher where, okay, my third eye or my crown, which those two kind of go hand in hand, I'm going to do poses that are reflective of that. And then that balances or opens or activates those things. So it has to, like, you have to be intentional in order for you to get the results that you want from it.
That's the word, intentional.
I feel like
that
I've
is
used
the
that
word.
a lot already. But
Yeah.
It's a fact.
It's the it word. It is the word besides the root.
Oof.
Because like people say it, but like they don't like mean it. You know what I mean? Because like you got to be intentional to be intentional, and it just gets thrown out so just like freely that it kind of like loses its value. You know, but that word is so powerful.
It is.
So if I may, can you repeat the question one time?
So how do you put your identity in your art?
How do you?
Yeah.
I
And
feel.
if you don't, why don't you?
Yeah, on that note, I feel like I don't want to offend nobody, but as an artist, like a real artist, you kind of have to. Like, you don't really have a choice. It's a part of the artistic process. Unless you like are doing some type of commercial thing, you know, you're trying to get paid, trying to make something hot, blah, 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 whatever, that's a little different. But if you're making art that's, you know, this is my art, it has to be personal because it's coming from you. I feel like art is a very spiritual thing. It's basically your soul talking.
Right.
We live in a very physical world, but like when you make a piece of art, whether it's a poem, a sculpture, or whatever, it's your soul being like, okay, I want to talk now. Let me say something. And it comes out. It can't come out like legit come about me. That'd be crazy. But it comes out
Like he's
in
throwing up.
right,
Regurgitated.
but it comes out in what I've created. Right. You know what I'm saying? So,
as a producer though, how do you make sure that your identity is like installed in that beat? Or as a rapper, how do you make sure that it's really like your soul's like installed in this fucking like this song or whatever it is?
I feel like sonically, every beat, like every producer has their own style. So when you first start, you're just messing around, blah, blah, blah. I like this, I like that. But the more you do it, eventually you have your own style. And that style is basically you.
Right, that's your specialty.
Exactly. This is why other producers can't sound like you, because everybody's soul is different. This is like how I sound. This is why when I produce, I don't like to use samples like that so much, because that's somebody else's thing.
I feel you.
When I'm making a beat that it's just raw, me, just I'm playing the keyboard, I'm playing this, I'm doing that, I'm creating the sounds, I'm doing the sound design. It's literally just like, this is what my soul sounds like. This is not something I just downloaded off the internet. This is what my soul sound like.
Right.
And when it comes to lyrics, like, you know, when you freestyle, like, it's coming from your head, it's coming from your psyche. Like, you can't help what comes out. It's just whatever's off top. You know what I'm saying? So, again, like, you can't really help it if you're a real artist. It's different if you just trying to make something that slap, trying to make something that, you know, play.
Right, trying to market to, like, the masses.
Exactly. It's
completely different.
Yeah, it's different if you do that. But, like, if you keeping it real, then, you know, it's a natural part of the process. It can't be helped. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about that.
That's a great response.
In conjunction to that, thank you.
I love that term.
I love that.
Truly, that was beautiful.
I love the way you put it. You know, it comes from the soul. Being an artist, when you hear other artists, I think the word that comes to mind is unique. You don't hear that sound anywhere. Like, you can't replicate that. And to your question, if I listen to my music and I don't feel shit from my own sound, it's not it. Like, that's how if I'm reciting a poem in the mirror and I'm like, you know, it's before a show and I got to dress rehearse myself and I don't feel nothing, like, what am I really doing?
Right.
You feel me? Like, if I can't feel me,
right,
it's not, what are you producing? It's not coming from an authentic place. It's coming from a place to serve, performative, you know? So, like, that's how I can tell. It's like, I feel my own shit. I can listen to my own shit and be like, I fuck with that.
Do you feel that all the time? Like, when you like say like a project that you put out like maybe like 3 or 4 years ago, do you still feel something when you listen to it?
Absolutely not. No, because we're forever evolving and changing. So, like, I'm not gonna resonate with that girl anymore. What I made
That's
back
some
then,
deep stuff, girl.
Yeah, I mean, what I made back then, I'm not. I've grown, you know what I mean? So, like, and I was talking to Amanda about this, like, you know, as you evolve, your art needs to evolve, because your art can keep you in a loop of trauma. If you're rapping and singing and performing about the same cycle of trauma and whatever it is, like, you're staying in there, you know what I mean? So, like, you have to break that own cycle for yourself. And I feel like as artists, sometimes when our consumers, they love the sad shit we make, they love the happy shit we make, and now we're getting all the likes and views and it's pumped, we feel like, damn, like, we got to keep making that even though we're not there. That's self-sacrificing. That's
what it is.
I feel like it's all about, like, being present in the present moment and intention.
You said depression is when your avatar is tired of playing the character.
Ooh.
We actually talked about this before though, but a lot of artists keep themselves in bad places so that they can appease their audience.
Yes.
Wait. Here, baby.
Yo, man, get at it. Let go.
Wait a minute. Man was not ready. Wait, say that again. What'd you just say?
So a lot of artists keep themselves in bad places so they can appease their audience.
Child. Not only keep themselves in bad places, but then, like, they're spewing that negative energy onto their audience. So you are keeping me in the same space. Okay, so I was going to go into a whole rant, but I'm going to save it. That's why I was just being cool. I'm like, let everybody talk, sis, because I know y'all going to say something that's going to trigger something. But I was having a conversation about electricity the other day. Literally, shout out to my brother because you brought this on and I was like, that's a whole bar, and I wrote it down. And he doesn't have electricity. Anyways, they didn't ground 2 circuit boards in his home the right way. So therefore he had light in the whole space except for in one room in his house, the room he needed the most. So I was like, interesting, it's just your office. He said, yeah. So as he's talking about this, I'm thinking about people because everything's a metaphor. And I said, well, how does electricity run, right? And electricity runs in a circle. This is a fact, right? Without it being grounded, it won't stop. It'll keep going in a loop. Do we not think of energy in that same light? So like when we think about art and like what we're producing, it's like, I tell the youth all the time, it's like you're omitting those waves out onto the people that you say you love and you love their support. And but like, why are you staying there and not evolving? People, I know this is, but people say Kanye and certain albums and and I'm like, you will never be able to tell me Kanye is not a genius. Just for the fact that he will try something new every single time, whether you like it or not, because you could tell it's authentic to him. He thinks it's genius. So then we get it. I respect that. He's not sitting here staying in the Jesus Walks era that y'all all want Kanye to be in. Now, I'm not saying I agree with all of his personal, choices or political views. At the same time, I appreciate the type of artist he is because he is showing us and then putting us onto game with other people. And I feel like to be authentic in yourself, you need to be omitting from a good space. Now, do we always omit from a good space or a positive space? Hell no. We're still humans living a very spiritual experience. So there are times that we go on stage and we probably do harm people, trigger people. That's what we do. That's what we do. And we try to warn them. Trigger warning. Yeah. But we don't know how deep that's going to go or where they're going to think about that or what that potentially might inspire. Right. So I take that risk every time, whether people don't like it or not. Like, I don't create from a space of like an audience. And the minute that I do, I could tell I'm not in it or I'm selling myself for a paycheck. That's like me saying I don't like National Grid and I'm all about living out in the woods, isolated, and then all of a sudden you see me at National Grid, their headquarters and shit, doing a poem about how electricity is fucking great. Like, the math is not mathing. Yeah, nah, you'd be like, what is Amanda doing? Like, I thought she was all for like living in tree houses and shit. Like, what happened was
that is important though. Taking risk as an artist. Yeah.
You have to. If I feel like if you're not, I'm gonna try to say this nicely. I could tell you who you are by what you put out. Some people have gotten on me about supporting certain people and be like, oh, they're not as good. Oh, they need more work. I see potential in folks. So what you think is not top tier or on a level, which why do we have levels anyways? We're all the same beings. Anyways, but I see the potential in them. I know if I support Pharrell is super talented. If I support Pharrell in something that Pharrell may be stepping into and it might not be hot, right away, might not be hot to everybody, but I see the passion, I feel the energy, I can feel the emotion. I'm gonna be like, yo, Pharrell, I don't care if like 3 people clapped or not. I think that was powerful. You moved me. And I'm not lying. I'm being authentic because it did. And I could see Pharrell's being authentic in her writing. Yeah. Some people would be like, oh, well, like, because they measure us on what gigs we do and things like that, what's our resume look like. And they'd be like, oh, well, this person's got like entry level or whatever. They haven't really performed at that many shows. I'd rather put that person on than the person who's done a whole bunch. Yeah. Because the expectation level, number one, changes. And 2, the innovation that you get from an artist that doesn't typically get that type of opportunity is going to be way different. Mm-hmm.
In those
you ain't gonna see the same thing every single time over and over again. It's gonna be different.
I was gonna say, man, that's important. Those 1 or 2 people that come to you, say nobody clap for you, and those 1 or 2 people come to you and like, yo, I fuck with that shit.